September is National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, a time dedicated to raising awareness about suicide prevention, reducing stigma around the topic, and encouraging those in need to use available resources. Joining me now is President and co-founder of the Code 9 Project, Brandy Lee Baker. Thank you so much for being here today, Brandy Lee.
Thanks for having me, Noelle. It's a pleasure.
Tell me, what is the Code 9 Project?
The Code 9 Project is a national nonprofit serving the U.S. and abroad, delivering wellness, education, training, advocacy, and resources for the prevention of PTSD and suicide in the law enforcement, first responder, and military communities.
Wow. So why was it created in the first place?
It was created because even to this day, there is a stigma with stress in general and our capacity to be able to handle it. Post-traumatic stress disorder, and suicide is still a topic that is not discussed openly to the extent that it's needed, especially in the populations that we serve.
Why do you think first responders like law enforcement and firefighters are more likely to die by suicide?
Because we're setting our servants of our communities and countries up without the proper tools and resources and support. They're human beings, and they are seeing and dealing with massive amounts of stress repetitively without resources and support, and the expectation that they are strong and invincible. And the reality is we're all human beings. They are doing extraordinary jobs, and that requires an extraordinary amount of support and resources in the way of physical equipment to do their jobs, as well as mental health tools to be able to deal with the impact that this extraordinary professions have.
This pandemic obviously does not help. It's taking a toll on a lot of people, right?
So it's a very difficult time for all of us in our nation and in the world for that matter. It's also an opportunity for us to relate to one another in a way that we haven't, to close the gap and end these stigmas. We can all relate to the need and the difficulty of adapting to sudden changes and increased stress and life-changing events. We can all relate to feeling uncomfortable, feeling overwhelmed. And this is the reality of our first responders, our law enforcement, and our military's mindset regularly. They are go, go, go. They're seeing the worst of the worst repetitively and having to go home and deal with the same life-changing circumstances that we are. So it's a double point of impact of stress.
Yeah. And what kind of suicide prevention resources are available to those who need them?
So we offer as many resources as possible because it's not a one-stop shop. So we have chaplains available 24/7, as well as live online prayer every Monday nights. We have a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week peer support hotline, whether on duty or off, 844-HOPE 247. Again, 844-HOPE 247. You can have access to peer support 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have our stress education training intensives for the prevention of PTSD and suicide. We have a 2-day share frontline officer program, a 2-day commander program, a 1-day family program, as well as peer support trainings and peer support Zoom meetings, because we can certainly, with COVID, we haven't been able to hold our live chapters across the country. In addition to our national suicide hotline that is available, there's wonderful suicide prevention and crisis hotlines nationally available. But peer support and intervention in the way of ongoing support daily from active duty and former first responders, military, and law enforcement, which is what we're comprised of, that relatability is very, very important for those that are in need.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us, Brandy Lee, and opening up this very important conversation.
Thank you so much for having me.